Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode here at the Podcast. Today, we have another special guest with us today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself and also speak on his journey to become the next state senator and the platform that he's building to become the next state senator. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Thank you. I'm Tyler Mack, formerly served on the City Council, born and raised here in Bridgeport, and I'm running to be the next state senator for the 22nd Senatorial District to succeed Senator Marilyn Moore.
Okay. Now, at once upon a time, you was a Bridgeport City Council. You ran for that position in 2020. Was there any particular incident that made you want to run to be a city council member?
It was a growing sense of dissatisfaction in the Bridgeport government overall, right? I really believed that we could be more proactive when it came to a lot of the issues and serving our constituents, and I believe that I had the ability to do that. And I think my time on the council reflect that as well. But it really came out, you love a city and you know that it can do better, but sometimes you have to be the change that you're looking for.
Okay. And being a city council member, did it live up to be what you thought it would be?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, public service is an honor, right? And though Bridgeport government sometimes gets a bad rap for a whole host of reasons, at the end of the day, when you get right people in the right positions doing the right work, it could turn out to be amazing. And I think my time on the council showed that, right? I mean, I remember the day that we passed the Fair Rent Commission ordinance. And I remember the excitement on John Marshall Lee's face, who, if you do not know, he's a local activist and he does a lot of work with the NAACP. He was going to city council meetings before I was a councilman. I remember seeing him, and he was trying to get the city council to approve and pass and revamp the Fair Rent Commission. So I remember his face when we actually passed the ordinance. I remember how shocked he was because he's been doing this for about 10 years. But that's what government can do. We can represent people, we can fight on core issues, and we can get work done. So when you have the right people doing the right work, it can still be an honor. So my time on the council did live up to those expectations because I believe I was proactive. I believe that I was really there trying to do the good work for the people.
Okay, and so your time on city council, what would you say was your biggest accomplishment?
My biggest accomplishment, honestly, was creating a tenants association in Stratfield Apartments. That's a huge accomplishment to me because I remember right after the election, right after the primary election, my first one, the elevators was broken and Frank Recchia did a news piece about it. And it was just, issue after issue in Stratfield Apartments. And I remember shaking some people's hands, some of my former constituents' hands, and just saying, I'm not leaving until we resolve these issues. And their initial reaction was, yeah, whatever, every politician says that. But then we started having monthly meetings there, and we started to organize and build and engage. We had conversations with management and everything, and we started building on something. And so the day that we passed the Tenants Association, the day that the constituents voted on it, I remember crying because I remember just thinking, wow, they, for a second, didn't believe that we were going to stay here, we were going to organize, we were going to handle these quality of life situations, and we're here faithfully. We had the police chief come to some meetings, we had the health department head come to some meetings. I mean, we've done so much there. So that was probably easily the greatest achievement because also that's representing the people directly. Like we could pass ordinances, we could pass legislation, but some people, they just want to feel their elected officials and they want to know that they got their back. And so that was a prime example of that.
Okay. And so you recently resigned from your seat as District 131 councilman. Now you have embarked on a new political journey. So let's talk about your platform and what people of Bridgeport can expect from their state reps?
So I'm glad that you asked that question. So yes, I'm running for the senatorial seat of the 22nd district. And this seat in this district map is Trumbull, Monroe, and Bridgeport. So this map is actually what you call America, right? You have a rural center, a suburban center, and an urban center, all in one district. And so you have to look at this as an entire district and the needs for everyone in different classes, poverty rates and everything. So you have to really plan and work with everybody to get true results. So one key thing is affordable housing. We are in the middle of a housing crisis. People cannot afford their own homes. People can't afford to rent. And you shouldn't have to have a certain job to afford a beautiful home. You shouldn't have a certain job to be able to provide for your family. That shouldn't be a thing. These are actual rights. So affordable housing is very big. We need to be able to develop more housing. We need to make it more affordable, and we need to create better generational knowledge. Because at the end of the day, some of our ultimate goals is to be able to buy a home. But if I don't know how to finance, if I don't know how to talk to some of these lenders, if I don't know, there's so many things that we need to learn. And at the state, we should be able to mandate some of these educational programs, stuff like that. At the state, we should be able to ensure tenants' rights. There's so much we should do. So affordable housing is very, very important. Also infrastructure and transportation. This leads to good jobs, right? We have so many construction workers out there who need to put food on the table. And we could do that by improving our infrastructure, right? That's street paving, that's sewers, that's all the things that we do on our everyday lives that we don't even think about. Drive a car to the park, right? That pothole right there shouldn't be there. So help and work from our infrastructure. Our Department of Transportation should have more bodies. But we should also be doing better when it comes to employing and creating those opportunities when it comes to infrastructure and transportation. Education, now that's the key. The more that we learn, the more that we teach our youth, the more that we engage with our youth, the better the future is for them. The better that this worldly life that we have is equitable for everyone. So we need to prioritize education. And in education, we have mental health issues that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But we have a society now that learns more, that's more engaged, but also look at technology a lot. There's cyberbullying. There's so much out there. So we need the mental health component to really empower our youth to get and strive for the future that they need and deserve as well.
So just to touch on education, what is your thought on what's going on with the Bridgeport Board of Ed? And I have to say, in terms of funding for education, that this is not only unique to the city of Bridgeport, this is unique pretty much throughout the state. How do you get those dividing sides to put their difference to the side and do the job on behalf of the stakeholders, which are the parents and the kids?
At the end of the day, kids are the main priority. And we need an educational structure that prioritizes that. So though there's a dividing sides on the current Board of Education in Bridgeport, I promise you, if you ask each and one of them individually if we need more money for the students, they will all say yes, right? And that's my role as a state senator, to fight and advocate for more monies towards our students, to also provide better opportunities for our teachers and for our paras, right? At the end of the day, though there's dividing fractions, we want the best educational system for our students. And I promise you, if we had every one of them come in this room, they will all agree to that. And so with that in mind, we need to fix the ECS formula statewide, right? Bridgeport is not getting this just due. We need to fix that to make sure that our teachers and our students are getting their supports all the way. We also need better money when it comes to school construction, right? Trumbull has a whole list of schools that needs to be improved, right? And they have a timeline and everything, and the state should be supporting that. So at the end of the day, we need to be delivering more dollars from the state to our municipalities to make sure that we're getting the best educational structure that we can provide.
And now this is not something that fall squarely on the shoulder of the Board of Education. This is a statewide issue, and a lot of people are blaming the Board of Education, but it's not their fault.
It's not all the way their fault, right? So the Board of Education, when they get the dollars, they have to spend it, right? So their decisions are how to spend the dollars that they have. But our superintendents should not have to go into their savings, right? To provide education yearly, you shouldn't have to go into your savings to do that. If we have the correct equitable funding that we deserve, she doesn't have to do that, right? Now the board can make decisions for now and the future. But if your funding is gone, if your rainy day fund, so as we call it, is gone, now what do you do? Because you're already not getting enough funding. Now your reserves are all tapped out. So now our students are getting even less. Now we're cutting mental health professionals. Now we're cutting teachers and we're having bigger classrooms. Now, so all of the services that you deserve, you can't get because number one, your rainy day savings are tapped out and you're already not getting enough funding to begin with. So we have to do a better job with providing funding at the beginning. So you can have a 5-year plan and you can have metrics that you can attain to because you have the equitable funding to get you there.
Okay, so let's talk about another hot topic that is not only in Bridgeport, but now it's nationwide, and that's voters' right. With all the alleged political malfeasance going on in the city of Bridgeport, what are some of the things that you would legislate for to see that when voters participate in the election process, that everything is handled and done in a way that did not violate these voters' rights or voting laws? Yes. And this is kind of like a loaded question. There are roughly 70,000 registered voters here in the city of Bridgeport, and only about 11,000 voted. That's about 15%. What is in your opinion, what's the disconnect between the politicians and the people in Bridgeport not connecting, which results in a lower voter turnout?
You're right, that is a loaded question. So let's start with the voting rights piece. So as we've uncovered and as we've seen, this past mayoral election was very disappointing in the fact that, again, from 2019, we have actors who broke the law, right? And they broke the law, and now it's starting to be adjudicated. So let's first acknowledge that there's laws on the books that was broken. So we do have some laws on the book, and they were broken, and now it's being adjudicated. Did it take too long? Did the investigations take too long? I will say yes. And I don't think you can blame COVID for how long they took. At the end of the day, that was 2019. 5 years later, now you're going forward with the investigation. That's pretty problematic to me. And then come to 2023, we also have multiple voter issues. Seek, you could look at all the articles. Seek is pretty full, and a lot of it is because of the Bridgeport elections. And that's very problematic because number one, you're now discouraging people to want to vote because they're asking themselves, will my vote count? So number one, we should not have that. That should not play a role in our politics and our society. We should all be able to have the right to vote and vote how we want. It shouldn't be taken advantage of. Laws should not be broken. That should not happen. I say that to also say, as these investigations progress, we should be happy that justice is prevailing. If you break the law, you get caught, now it's time to pay the price. And as we go through that process, that should be encouraging to know that, okay, some of these actors have to stop. They have to stop breaking the law. That's not cool. Now, overall, we should, in the state, really have no excuse absentee ballots. And I say that because you should do, as electors, as government officials, we should give everyone the tools that they need to vote. And no excuse absentee ballots allow that because for some reasons, some people may not go to the polls. We already have early voting, which is good. We should expand that. But no excuse means I have the ability to read the rules, vote for the person I want, and get it and make sure that my ballot is cast. No matter what, I don't have to just vote on election day. because some people, they may not be here on election day, they may have to work or whatever the case may be, so they may not have the time. But no excuse absentee ballots allow that. If I mailed my ballot, I can sign whoever I want, I can follow the rules, I can drop it off, we're all good. So no excuse absentee ballots is big, big, big. Though we've had the fraudulent acts of the past, that shouldn't discard or take away the ability to have no excuse absentee ballots. We need to encourage people to vote. Another way that people will be excited to vote is if we have exciting candidates. So that's another conversation that I have, right? I'm proud that I'm born and raised here in Bridgeport. I'm proud that I'm a young African American man. I'm proud that I'm 28. I'm proud that I have a family that I'm trying to grow and raise in the city. That's motivating, but we also need to talk policy, right? You can't just get in office and just disappear. We have serious problems that need serious solutions, and we need politicians and elected officials who will actually be there for you, who will actually help impact your life. As we were talking earlier, education is important, right? If I'm an elected official, I should be fighting as hard to make sure that we have the resources that we need to guarantee successful lives throughout the state, especially in our district. Education is important to that. The more you know, the more you can do. The more resources you have, the more of a success story you can have, right? Like I said, we need better jobs. The state has the ability to help us create better jobs. We need representatives and senators to fight for these things. And we also need to be accessible. If I'm elected, I don't just disappear. I need to be in the community, working for you, making sure that you know that I'm a partner and I'm an ally in Hartford for you, right? And so that's motivating, that's encouraging. If you feel like you can text your senator, you know you can vote. And so we need politicians who's relatable, we need politicians who's active, and we need politicians who's effective on policy.
What are some of the things that you learned in experience as a state councilman and also the outreach manager for Congressman Jim Himes that you feel will make you a good candidate become the next state senator?
So results are important, because if you don't have a record to tout on, why do I keep putting you back in office, right? And that's what I mean when I say being proactive. We need to get, it's different for me to go to every single rally and speak and just say, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm an ally, and then go up to Hartford in the back rooms and just do nothing, right? Because I sound good when I speak, but the results that you need and the results that you're looking for, I'm not delivering. So I'm ineffective at the end of the day, right? And so I learned that on the city council, records matter. Though I've never been endorsed by the DTC, I was still able to win. I won by quite a big margin in my last election, and that's because my results spoke for myself. And so when people, at the end of the day, my constituents knew me, they knew I was fighting for them, they knew I was representing their best interests, and they say, you know what, you are deserving of a second term, right? So at the end of the day, you have to treat this as an honor. You have to treat this as something that you have to earn. And the way you earn it is by doing the work. And so that's what I learned. As an outreach manager for Congressman Himes, I learned that, number one, everybody doesn't look at everything the same, right? And like I said earlier, this district has an urban center, a suburban center, and a rural center. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you understand what everybody wants and needs are, and how can you deliver that in an equitable fashion. And so everyone has a seat at the table, and everyone has a right to live the life that they want to live. And it's your job to deliver the state resources to make that happen.
For me personally, I think one of the many attributes to you being a well-liked and respected councilman is your availability. I know that you can't be everything and everywhere to everybody, but I never heard anyone said, Tyler never returned a phone call, Tyler Mack have never returned an email, and Tyler Mack flicked on me. You and I met at a Jim Himes campaign, and I walked up to you, I introduced myself and said, hey, I have a community platform, this is what I want to do, and I would love to have you on the platform. And you said, sure, no problem. A week later, you were on the platform. Also, Ernie Newton also did the same thing, so I appreciate him coming onto the platform as well. So everyone else, not so much, right? How important is it to be available to your constituents outside of you legislating or you being in council meetings?
That's the main job, honestly, because at the end of the day, I'm your representative. So if you feel like I'm not around, if you feel like I don't know you, if you feel like I'm not working with you, why would you put me back in office, right? So that's the main job. If I'm not available, if I'm not here to hear you out or work with you, how can I deliver your needs? How can I go up to Hartford and say, oh, I know my constituents need this. I need to be able to sit down with everyone. I need to be able to work with you. I need to be able to understand where you are. And we need to be able to communicate. Because sometimes I don't know everything. Sometimes my constituents don't understand what's going on in Hartford. So you have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to be available, and you have to be able to be accessible, right? Now, me personally, I like to text. It's a lot easier to stay organized. But some people will prefer to meet in person. Some people will prefer to talk on the phone. But you have to give them what they need in order to deliver. That's the main job. This job is to deliver. My time on the council, it was to deliver, and it was to show that I'm with you. Though you elected me to this great honor, I'm a piece of you in these rooms. I'm a piece of you when I'm negotiating, I'm fighting on your behalf. Because at the end of the day, that's what you deserve. If you put me up there, I have to be an arm of you. And so at the end of the day, no matter what, you have to be accessible as an elected official.
And why should people take time off their busy schedule to go to these polls and vote you as the next state senator?
Because I think we highlighted that in this entire interview, right? I'm accessible, I'm proactive, I will fight for your issues, I'm very policy oriented, but at the end of the day, I'm focused on delivering. I'm born and raised here in Bridgeport. I love this city. I also love Trumbull Monroe, as because I was born and raised here, I spent a lot of time in those two towns as well. I believe that I will be the best representative that you can have in succeeding Senator Moore, right? I have common issues. I've had similar struggles. But at the end of the day, I want what's best for us. And I believe that if we're more proactive, if we're looking at things with an equitable lens, we can be the best district in all of Connecticut. I also believe that we should learn from our past, right? We went through COVID-19 and we learned of the many inequities that we have. And now is the time to really step up, and I believe I'm the candidate to do that.
And how can people reach out to the Tyler Mack campaign if they want to volunteer or donate to your campaign?
We're everywhere, so you can text me 203-864-0559. You can also reach out to me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Tyler D. Mack on Instagram, Tyler Mack on Facebook. I'm everywhere. You probably have a friend who knows me or a friend of a friend who knows me, so I'm just always accessible. So reach out to me either by text, call, or on social media.
Okay. So Tyler, I'd like to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to come on this platform to talk about your running platform to be the next state senator here in the state of Connecticut. I wish you nothing but the best and good luck.
Thank you again for having me. It's an honor to be here 2 times, and I look forward to the next.
All right. Now, one more question on a lighter note. I see that you are a big basketball fan and you're a baller. Now, all the clips that I've seen of you, you're either at the free throw or you shooting a jumper. I'm not seeing no ball handling skills, you taking it to the hole or anything. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to post a clip at you at the free throw or you shooting a jumper. Now,
not everybody can shoot though. Not everybody can shoot, but either way.
It's easier to shoot if nobody's guarding you,
all
really,
right, so
or at the free throw.
Record me after this playing ball. I got you. I'll show you all the clips.
So we need to see some more clips of you got the handle, you taking it to the hole as well.
I got you.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? No. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, back. No, I got you.